Hi everyone, I'm Cynthia Top, and this is day 1 of 30 days of posting live guided meditations that I'm just going to create as I go. And I'm going to do this completely unfiltered. So I just got back in from my walk that I take every morning, which is my time to ground and center and meditate. And I'm just going to bring you whatever it is that I was doing that day as I went for my walk. And I will try to do it at about the same time every day, but I'm not completely sure. So I'll be announcing the time so you can follow along and have this little daily dose of meditation. So today I want to do a meditation on the idea, the thought that we are mostly made up of empty space. And I have in my mind been calling this either emptiness or space, or it's easier for me to actually just call it stillness. So I want you to think for a minute. Actually, let's go ahead and just close our eyes and take a breath. And another breath. And now use your imagination for a moment. And just imagine how your body is made up of molecules, which are made up of atoms. And atoms are these crazy tiny things that have a nucleus, and then all these even tinier parts orbiting around them. But in between is huge amounts of nothing. Emptiness, space, stillness. In fact, apparently, proportionally, the distance between the stars and the amount of space between them, that's kind of a good proportional representation of the distance between the nucleus of an atom and the particles around it. So I just want you to think for a minute. Take another breath. And focus on the tip of your nose. And just let your mind wander through the untold billions of molecules and atoms and subatomic particles that make up just the tip of your nose. And now, can you imagine all of the emptiness in between those tiny bits of what we call matter in the tip of your nose? The space. Can you imagine the space that makes up the tip of your nose? Now can you imagine the distance between your eyes. And can you imagine the billions of atoms in that distance, in that space between your eyes? And now picture the emptiness around all those subatomic particles in that space between your eyes. Can you imagine the volume of your lips? And now once again, imagine that your lips are made up of billions of atoms surrounded by space. Surrounded by emptiness. Let's do it again with your hair. Can you imagine the space that your hair occupies? And now, imagine, if you can, the uncountable number of atoms that make up your hair, and the space inside what you call your hair, the emptiness. Can you imagine the distance between your ears? Can you imagine that that space between your ears is made up of billions of molecules surrounded by emptiness, surrounded by stillness, surrounded by a void in that space between your ears? And now, turn your attention to the space, the distance between yourself and the moon. The surface of the moon. And imagine that space between your head, a point, how about, on the top of your head, and the distance to the moon. And imagine how first there's the air around you, billions of atoms surrounded by space. And then if you're indoors, there's whatever ceiling and roof are over your head. And as solid as they feel and look, we know they're actually just more atoms surrounded by space, held together by energy. And then let your attention go up and up and up and up through our atmosphere. All those atoms of the air, atoms of water in the clouds. Perhaps there's an airplane right overhead. And all of it is just atoms surrounded by space. Then let your attention keep going through the outer edges of the Earth's atmosphere where there are less and less, fewer and fewer atoms of air. The space between those atoms is getting bigger and bigger. And there's more and more and more emptiness. And then just let your attention continue through that emptiness right out to the surface of the moon. In my imagination, it's like this black line of beautiful emptiness. The darkness of outer space. And when your attention hits the moon, just touch it gently there, and then return along this line of your attention right back to the edge of our atmosphere, all that empty space. And then it gets a little bit less empty, not much really, as you come through the atmosphere, down to the roof and the ceiling over your head, and the air around your body, and the point on the top of your head. And now just imagine that emptiness in between those atoms continues right on down through your body and into the center of the earth. We are made of space and stillness, emptiness, with a little sprinkling of stardust. Okay, open your eyes. And as you've been doing this, and I realize I may have moved my camera, But as you've been doing this, you've been creating amazing alpha brainwaves as you've been imagining these things. And alpha brainwaves are the ones that are all about creativity and discovery and all kinds of ways of using our brains where we have those aha moments and we make connections. So my suggestion to you is that you go now and use this place of great alpha waves to do something creative, something about connection. I'm Cynthia Top. If you want to connect with me more, check out my free evening news meditation, eveningnewsmeditation.com. And I'll be doing another one of these tomorrow. Ciao for now.